Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another session here in Readers Magnet's featured author interview. My name is Leanne. I will be your host for today, and with me is one of the Readers Magnet's author's most valuable author we have. So today he will be sharing to us what this book is all about, him as an author, and of course, what inspired him to write this book. So everyone, let's all welcome our one and only Dr. Harold Kooden, author of the book Golden Men, The Power of Gay Midlife 2022. Hello, Dr. Kooden. How are you doing? It's good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm. You're right. Now, Dr. Kooden, this is the moment that we've been waiting for because, again, it will be more information to tackle about your book. But before we go over the details with your book, I wanted you to have maybe a little bit of self introduction to let the people know who Dr. Harold Kooden is. So, yeah, take the stage.
Okay. Well, professionally, I've been a psychologist practicing for many years in community mental health and then in private practice, but working almost exclusively within the gay male community. And
Mm,
at the same time, I've been an activist in organizations and writing for the gay publications, et cetera, as well as professional papers. And when AIDS came on as an issue to be dealt with, I was seeing, since I was one of the first openly gay male psychologists in New York City, I got a lot of references from people, or referrals, I should say. And what I discovered is that I was encountering a number of gay men who actually were more afraid of aging and becoming
mm,
old gay men than they were of dying. And some actually, unfortunately, continued with drugs and using what they had done all along, knowing it was going to kill them. And they admitted they were more afraid of being old than they were of dying. And after seeing that, seeing what was happening around the world with me and friends, um, my own lover died of AIDS, of complications from AIDS, and my closest friends, given the activist, didn't write a book that would help people deal with ageism, specifically internalized gay ageism, which is all the negative feelings one has about growing old and not realizing that they have learned something by the coming out process. I saw that the same skills they developed in coming out can be used for other life challenges. And rather than making it just for people who could afford therapy and so on, I
mm.
decided not only would I write the book, giving people as much information as I could about aging, about ageism, and about gay, really gay liberation, since I
Mhm.
had been coming out, for many years in the whole field. And I also wanted a book that people could use without going to therapy.
Wow, that's amazing. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a step-by-step process in the entire book of, if you, with questions and not answers, but asking certain questions and giving the context of why those questions are important for people to start answering. And the book is divided into three areas:
Mm-hmm.
body, mind, and soul. And so
Wow.
that if someone sits down with this book and seriously goes through the different exercises, they will, in a sense, end up with about 4 years of intense therapy. But it's free. It's for them to use with themselves or with friends, pulling
Right. Can
together.
they can also share it to others. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
came out during, well, I came out originally when I was 14 years old. I was arrested by the police for being gay. And so
Whoa.
my
Mhm.
activism began long, long ago in the 50s, and with having been arrested. Um, but being a professional, I wanted this knowledge to be spread and not kept in an office where only people who could afford therapy. So
Right.
the
Totally
book
agree on
has,
that. That's right.
yeah, well, the book has these two purposes. It's one, to get people to realize that coming out taught them something, and to really be very specific. What did it teach a person about, facing life challenges? And I'm very specific in the book about the different parts of coming out that can be used basically for any life crisis. And when I wrote the book, it was in 2000. I felt that since my experience was with white gay men in terms of my patients and most of
Mhm.
my friends, I felt I couldn't speak for anybody else. Well, over the years, friends, people I've met, both white, black, people who either are gay, non gay, women, men, they've all said in reading it that there's something in this book that they found very valuable and they recommend it for everyone. So that's when I decided to republish the book. When
Mhm.
it was done in 2000, it was Avon Books. Then HarperCollins bought them, and so does the regular publishing. Well, this is not the kind of book that publishers really are interested in now. They want moneymakers, they want big name people. And
Mhm.
so I decided to self publish this, and it contains all of the original book, but an epilogue, basically talking about the world has changed since the book came out. That was the year 2000. And we have had a lot of changes in the world. The 2001, the AIDS epidemic,
Mhm.
which is continued, the COVID epidemic, we've had
Right.
The whole Black Lives Matter movement, as well as the
True.
women's movement. So there have been so many changes. And I also talk in the
Yes.
book of
Those
I change.
remarkable. Mhm. Yes. Those are the changes that's very remarkable, in the world. And wow, I really appreciate you really sharing this whole story, Dr. Kuden, because again, it's not just about you sharing your whole experience. But at the same time, the book is really advocating for a specific cause and agenda that could really help our, viewers in there who's also might be experiencing the same thing to really, having that fear of coming out. Because again, as what you have mentioned earlier, yes, coming out is a process, and you just really need to know on what would be the step by step
Right.
to really tell the people, to show the people that, hey, I am ready and coming out. And yes, it's also a plan that needs to be done. Now, one more thing that I'm also interested, Dr. Kuden, are there any surprising moments that you have discovered while writing this book? Especially that I believe that there's already um, a lot of people who would go with you and tell their feelings about coming out process. So yeah, can you share to us those kinds of experiences you've had?
Well, since I came out so early, in the sense
Mhm.
it was the police telling my family that I was gay. So I didn't
Wow,
have, yeah.
really? That was wow. So it's really a surprise. Uh-huh.
Well, it
Not
was a
planned
very,
at all.
hmm? I
Not
mean,
planned at all. Yes, yes.
well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, so you were telling that it was a police who really let the who did say it to your family, to your parents, that you were gay. So it was really not planned at all. Right.
And no, and so the experience of coming out was very different for me than most people. And so, but in being in therapy, as a therapist as well as patient, I learned a lot about the coming out process. And as you can imagine, as a therapist, I was helping a lot of people to come out as well. But what I saw that there are three main parts of coming out. The first is a very, and I can say it's a very spiritual part because it's being authentic. It's
Mm-hmm.
finally being who you are and accepting
Right.
who you are and be willing to say to the world, this is who I am. That is the first part. The second part of coming out is being willing to look to another group, meaning your gay peers. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's willing
The
to
community
let go,
that could really help
exist the community. And that is a very important part of it because for me, there's a big difference between being homosexual and
you.
being
Mm-hmm.
gay. Being homosexual defines your sexuality, your sexual orientation. There are many men, and I have encountered, who are homosexual but not gay because they don't identify with the gay community and they keep themselves separate. But the third part of coming out is hope because it's seeing that there is a positive future.
Right.
And those,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, and those three aspects are what give people the resilience to come out and to continue growing. And it's that same process that they can use in aging successfully. Because when you accept the fact that you're a middle-aged gay man or accept the fact that you're an old man, it involves the same process about self-identification, looking
Mm-hmm.
to another group to be who are your peers, and the third, seeing the value in where you are at this point in your life.
Wow, that is very priceless, words coming out from your mouth, Dr. Kuden. And you know what? One thing that I really like is about, how you also show the benefits of coming out in this book. It could alleviate the stress of hiding one's identity, talking about, connecting with other people who are also, part of the community, which is LGBTQIA, being part of a community with others with whom you have something in common. It's actually another help to really dispel myths and stereotypes by speaking about one's own experience and, of course, educating others. Wow. I like that. I like that. That is something that could really help not just our gay community, but at the same time to educate more people. And I also believe, Dr. Kuden, that in this book it also tells the importance of, let's say, gender equality and inclusive society, right? So can you, I believe that it's also in the book, so can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. As I said, when I did the book originally in 2000, I felt I couldn't speak for anybody else
Mm,
because, you know, I can't speak for women. Can't speak for people of color. And since the year 2000, now part of the epilogue is talking about my history. When I was
mm,
65, I met my current husband. And John is a black man, a peer of mine. And the experience of being with him meant I would have to look at every aspect of my own
mm.
internalized racism.
You're right.
And obviously, as part of the relationship, we had to look at a lot of issues surrounding race.
Hmm.
And
Yes, yes, especially.
One of the things we did is at about 8 years ago, we decided to start a salon for white and black to talk about racism, white
Mm-hmm.
privilege, superiority. And it was not about blacks teaching whites. That's not what we were aiming for, but a place where
Mm-hmm.
people could open up and start talking and looking at some of the issues that we felt were very, very relevant. And
Right.
and as I said, Leah, you know, having heard so many people who've read the book say, this is something that's for everyone. It's why I
Right.
was
Right.
willing at this
Exactly.
point to say, okay, read it, take what you will from it. But, and again, the thing that I was really concerned about is that, living in New York City, it's possible to find therapists easily.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the people who don't have money? What about the people
Right.
who live outside of the city? So that's one of the reasons why the book is so detailed in a step by step process, because I wanted people to benefit from what my field could offer so that they can, on their own, with friends, in a sense, do the work that I felt needed to be done to finally move to the place of feeling that they could be proud of themselves and know that they not only can deal with middle age, but also
Mm-hmm.
old age. And I had
Wow.
to
Wow.
get
And
to,
that's
well, you see, Leah, I had to get to that place to be able to write it. I mean, I'm 87 years old. At this
mm-hmm.
point, life still keeps changing. As I said,
Right. It's the
I'm
only
talking,
constant thing in this world. Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to you from Mexico. This is where I'm living now.
Right, right. Well, thank you so much for that, Dr. Kooden. And I really like, the overall objective about your book when it comes to gender and, well, it's actually for all society, which women and men enjoy the same opportunities, rights, and obligations in all spheres of life. And wow, that's just very amazing, especially, that having this kind of opportunity that can really lead a better life, for all the people in their community, gender. It has, because having this kind of book, it has been proven over and over to really feel connected, and valued at the same time within this society, to address any form of social inclusion, I mean exclusion, people are experiencing every day. And this is really amazing, Dr. Kuden. And one more thing, Dr. Kuden, I wanted you to give a message to our viewers and there, your about what would be the heads up that you can give for your book, a message for them. So yes, take the stage, Dr. Kuden.
Well, I mean, I would I would think that reading the book would help them not only understand themselves, but get a sense of where they are in the world as well. Because the book covers a lot of social issues as well.
Mm.
And
Right. Well,
again, okay. I don't know if I
no,
answered
go
your
ahead,
question.
Dr. Kuden. No, that's fine. It's actually understandable, and thank you so much as well, Dr. Kuden. I mean, it was really an interesting discussion, to really be the voice for those same people who is also experiencing the same thing, that cannot really speak out. This is actually a good kind of book that would really help them to, hey, I want to be who I am, I wanted to show the world who I am. So this is really going to be a great help for them, Dr. Kuden. And of course, on behalf of Readers Magnet team, thank you so much for choosing us to be part of this journey. I mean, it's so awesome to really know how authors like this, who is advocating for a specific cause and agenda that could really help a lot of people for all aspects in life. This can also be used, you know speaking out. And well, thank you so much for that, Dr. Kuden. So yes, everyone, our one and only Dr. Harold Kuden, author of the book Golden Men: The Power of Gay Midlife 2022. And for those of our viewers out there who was interested to buy his book, this is available in Amazon.com and, of course, Barnes& and Noble. And yes, again, Dr. Kooden, thank you so much for gracing with us today. And as we say it here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Thank you so much, Dr. Kooden.
What can I add one little thing? If people
Sure.
have a question, if they have a question, they can write me at my email address, which is my name and the number one at gmail.com.
Okay, so that's going to be haroldkooden1 at gmail.com. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. So everyone who is interested to know more information about Dr. Harold Kooden's experience, talk to them, maybe a consultation, a discussion. Yes,
Okay.
please do
Station.
reach out to
HR.
him. Yes. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Kooden. So yes, everyone, our author, Dr. Harold Kooden. Thank you so much. You take care, Dr. Harold Kooden. Bye bye.
Thank you.